Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is your host, Hunter McWaters, and I have another episode from a recent trip I did out to the GoHunt headquarters in Las Vegas. And this is a pretty cool one because, there's been a fair amount of podcasts recently with Lorenzo Sartini, including myself. I did one with him as well recently. But there's another side of the GoHunt origin story, which you probably may have heard, is Lorenzo's friend Chris, who was in the online gaming industry and then helped Lorenzo bring his dream of GoHunt to life and really... those two are the ones that brought GoHunt to life. Not many people get Chris on their podcast because he's just super busy guy and is just doing his thing there at GoHunt. Since I was there in the office, we were able to peer pressure him into sitting down with me for a while. So we have a really cool conversation about leadership and entrepreneurship and his story and building a culture and a team that I think is a really cool conversation and kind of a unique other side to the GoHunt story, just because not many folks get Chris on their podcast. So if you are listening, Chris, I appreciate your time. Thanks for sitting down with me, and it's a great episode. I hope you guys enjoy it. Since it is a GoHunt episode, I guess I'll just remind you one more time, they just released a new update to their Explorer software, their mapping software, which I've been using extensively. It's got great tools on there, both on the desktop and mobile, for terrain analysis, wildfires. I've been using it recently to look for burn areas to check out on some hunts I got coming up. And, so if you can use the code QUEST over there and you'll save on your membership, as well as the gear shop and join Insider. I've been using Insider since I started. Unbelievable tool for research and picking units and tags and stuff. So check them out. If you need gear, check out the gear shop. You can use the code QUEST. All those places also at Outdoor Class if you want to kind of learn some more stuff and some e-learning, some well put together e-learning platform that was has contributors of some of the best guys in the industry like Randy Newberg and Remy Warren and Brian Call, Ryan Lampers, all those guys. So yeah, check out GoHunt, use the code QUEST and save, and enjoy this episode, guys. See you on the next one. All right, cool. All right, thanks, man. Yep. All right, so here at the GoHunt headquarters with Mr. Chris Porter. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Sorry, I'm finishing a protein bar.
No worries.
No, I'm good, man. Oh, sorry, that's Bruno. Bruno,
okay.
Sit down.
It's okay, buddy. Right here. There you go.
Sorry, man. That's Bruno.
No, you're good. Hey, Bruno.
That's Bruno and Leo.
Okay. So are you from Vegas originally?
Nope. Grew up in Orange County, California.
Okay.
Leo, get down. Went to college in Arizona and then I moved here for a job like right after college. I've been here a while.
Okay.
But no, Southwest kind of West Coast
So
guy.
from California, the land of fruits and nuts.
Orange County, California. Yes.
Did you start hunting out there or?
No. I grew up like surfing, loving the outdoors and all
Okay.
that, but not into guns, not into hunting at all.
Okay.
Went to college, came out here, and then eventually met Lorenzo. He's the one that got me into it.
Yeah, because you were in the online gaming?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
Yep, online gaming was like my career until GoHunt.
Mm-hmm.
And then took this like random pivot,
Yeah.
which has been a huge blessing, but
For sure.
I wasn't into it at all. Like
Okay.
2013, we were like concepting the business. I went on a couple hunts with his brother and him that year to get a taste for it. 2014, I had my first tag.
Okay.
So I was like brand new, which ended up being great because, I got hooked on it. I do love it. I've always loved the outdoors and
Right.
the challenge of it and like the being out there, like the independence around it and like the empowerment. Like there's a lot of qualities that
For sure.
that made me fall in love with it. But it was good at building GoHunt, just having a different perspective, being much more of a newbie hunter versus like a Lorenzo who had been hunting all his life.
Right.
More of an expert.
And people may not think of it. I mean, like surfing isn't that. I mean, you're in nature. It's physically challenging.
Yep.
There's an adventure kind of aspect to it. People might not think about that, but I grew up in a beach town too, so
I dabbled in surfing a little bit, but the waves were only good like in November, and I was like, I would rather be hunting, so I just kind of.
That's a critical hunting month for sure. But yeah, no, you're right. The outdoors, I was always into like hiking, and there's a big crossover there.
Yeah. So you moved. So I was going to ask you. This is kind of interesting. So you're in the online gaming stuff.
Yep.
And I see like weird correlation between like the whole tag and lottery. Like it's almost similar to online gaming.
Oh, that is interesting. Wow, I'd never really connected that. You're right though. Like online gaming, there was a lot of people running data and performance. Like if I play this many tables online at this stakes, what's my projected ROI? All that. There's a lot of people doing that with like tags. Okay, I have 8 points. Cost me this much to apply every year. What's my projected like?
Right.
When am I going to draw a tag?
Playing numbers.
Yeah, playing numbers. Get lucky in the random draw.
Right.
Draw a sheep tag, things like that. No, that's interesting. I never connected the two. But
really?
Right. Yeah.
So you met Lorenzo and you were working. I did a podcast with him the other day.
Yep.
And he's been on a bunch of podcasts, but have you been on any?
I was on like Randy's one time.
Okay.
I've done like maybe one or two.
Okay, cool. Well, thanks for agreeing to be on. It's cool to talk to you, man. So yeah, man. So it's interesting. I was just like, your door is open, so I was kind of listening a little bit. And you guys have built like a really cool culture here. And Cody was just kind of mentioning it there, of kind of the, people are friends and it's welcoming and it's a relaxed, fun environment, but at the same time, it's very professional. Like, I noticed like when I came on as like a partner or whatever, when Outdoor Class came out, there was a one sheet on it and like, stuff that a lot of hunting companies overlook or aren't as professional, because I have a business background. And so like, can you talk about like building that like fun culture of like being the friend, but also being the boss too?
Yeah. So you're picking up on a lot of good observations. So Lorenzo and I spent time at bigger companies, and we're not like, we kind of consider ourselves like anti-corporate dudes. Like we're pretty casual. We like to wear shorts and t-shirt. We like to have fun. I'd like to think we're fun guys. We love what we do. We're very passion driven. And so that is reflected in our culture. Very customer centric. I worked at a company in the online gaming days that was not the best with customer service, not the best being transparent, not the best being, caring about their customer.
Yeah.
So we wanted to be very customer centric very early on. Like first multiple years of the business, Lorenzo and I were responding mostly to customer inquiries, like directly ourselves. We got to a point
which is you two in the beginning, right?
Well, yeah. And then, we had like a team of like 6 for the first year or two. But up until a team of like 15, I was responding to customer emails like multiple hours per day. And I actually kind of missed part of that. It really connected me to the customer, but we're very customer centric, very like try to take care of the customer and be very long-term focused, because we do care about our customers. We are our customers, right? Like, so we care about the industry.
I've seen that as a customer before. When I first joined, I was just starting, had no idea where to start. And like, I hit up Trail and he like gave me his phone number and like, he like talked to me on the phone, helped me find units. Like it was awesome. And we're still friends.
That's one of the biggest like compliments you could pay us. Like that is so rewarding to hear that and that experience. Trail's been with us a long time. He's one of our best with that. And he cares. He wants to hear you draw an elk tag, kill a bull elk, send him a photo. That's where it comes full circle for him. And
you can tell he really did care. Like he wasn't just like, okay, whatever, I guess. Like he really wanted to help me out.
Right.
And I'm still nobody, but I was like really nobody. Like I didn't.
You're a customer. You're
exactly.
Nobody. And then, for many years, every single customer got a personal thank you note. We're actually just had a meeting yesterday. We're trying to bring that back.
Nice.
Because it was really hard as we scaled, but like that's that touch. Like right now, we're not really happy with our customer experience, like especially on the e-commerce side. We want to make it's not as warm and as inviting as it could be. So we're trying to bring back some of the stuff that we had early on. But back to like the business part of it and being professional, that observation. So when we were entering the industry, we noticed there was some of these other companies that seemed to be hunting first. Like They were like, I'm a hunter. I want to be in the hunting industry,
Yeah.
and I need to figure out how to make a living from it. So we looked at it opposite. We wanted to be very business centric, business first. Like some of these other companies would close all fall. And we're like, how do you service your customers if you
Right.
close for 4 or 5 months in the year? So we were always going to be business first, hunting second. And so we really wanted to change that shift so that professionalism you sense is that. We're still hunters. We always try to keep like a ratio of 50-50 between hunters and non-hunters in the company. That's a really important like dynamic. You know, we are our customers. We have a lot of experts that are bringing up problems that they want solved. That's a really key part of our, you know, ingredient in our recipes for success and building products, you know, for hunters is having that in our DNA. You know, if you look at some of the other, you know, providers, especially on the mapping side, you know, they're getting into different verticals, right? They're getting into off-road, they're getting into backcountry, they're getting into oil and gas or all these other sectors. They came out of hunting and they're trying to go this way.
Right.
Hunting is in our name. We have the exact opposite strategy. We're like, okay, we're building an ecosystem. You know, we get into e-learning, we get into mapping, we get into research, we get into content, we get into e-commerce. We're going like this and just servicing our customer. We have no interest in getting outside of hunting.
Yeah.
We are hunters. We care about hunters. We just want to continue to solve problems for hunters.
Yeah, that's good, man. What were some of like the challenges early on that you guys had to overcome?
The first big one was, you know, Lorenzo and I are not technology founders. And so we're trying to build a tech company.
You're right.
And so you had to hire and empower and trust technology people, which is really uncomfortable, right? Because they can pull the wool over your eyes and things like that. We're lucky we had a really good hire early on that understood tech. And so we got into a good position early on. That was the first big hurdle. I would say the second biggest hurdle was when we launched Insider. You know, we were changing behavior. People were used to getting their research out of a print magazine. They were used to static data, not data that changed. They were used to looking at top 10 units, top 15 units.
Right.
And so we were coming out saying, hey, listen, don't wait 15 years to draw a tag. Look at the neighboring units. Like we were really trying to open up the possibilities and actually spread hunters across rather than just look at like this top 10 power ranking, like ESPN power rankings.
Right.
It's like there's 172 mule deer units in the state of Nevada, right? People only talk about, or they used to only talk about 5, 6, 7, 8 of them.
Right.
It's like there's good opportunities, right?
Yeah.
A lot of them you can
And
draw.
It
much
feeds
more.
into this like whole kind of lie that a lot of guys fall into of like, oh, I have to have like 10 points before I can go hunt.
Exactly.
It's like, no, you can. In fact, I'm doing like a project this year where I'm literally going to show using a unit I found on GoHunt that I can go out on a 0 point, 100% draw antelope unit and tag out.
That's exactly right. That's exactly. You'll run across these people in Colorado. So as a resident of Colorado, the antelope opportunity is not that good, and you'll go like, well, why aren't you applying in Wyoming?
Yeah.
With 0 points, 1 point, 2 point as a non-resident, there's incredible antelope opportunity for you. Way better than being a resident in Colorado.
Yeah.
It's just about understanding what's out there,
Right.
and learning, you know, and challenging
sure.
yourself and pushing yourself.
So yeah, I want to talk about, so when you guys first started, you know, Insider was unique and it was, I mean, it's just super useful and there was no competition really. I mean, there's nothing really like Insider, at least that I know of. But now, like I said, now you guys are like in the like giant slaying business, or you're trying to be, right? So like, what's that like? What's that shift like?
Yeah, it's interesting. So you asked about like the biggest challenge. So it's around changing behavior, getting people to understand, you know, what a product like ours could do for you and what opportunities it can open up to you. You know, if like analogy we always talk about here is, you know, Apple years ago launched the iPhone, right? Everyone was comfortable on BlackBerry, everyone was comfortable with BBM, all these things. Now you look back, they have 80% market share. You're like, yeah, everyone has an iPhone. But back then it's like, no one did.
Yeah,
and it's
true.
like, why would I make that switch? You know, Steve Jobs would be like, we have the Apple ecosystem, the app, you know, the app
Right.
store. It's like, well, what's a mobile app? You know, now everyone uses mobile apps, of course. But back then it's like, what does that do for
Yeah.
me? And so there was a huge education and learning curve. People are like, what does it do for me? What problems does it solve? So they had to really get out in front of that, similar to us, like we had to explain what a research product could do, what it could open up for you. And then so the first couple years were actually much more challenging, harder than we thought. And then years 3, 4, 5, 6, it got quite a bit easier as people started to understand, and then you had the network effect.
Yeah.
So you asked, what is it like now? It's about continuing to stay out in front, continuing to innovate, continuing to deliver for the customer. Like we can't get complacent. We can't get stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but like so many companies, you know, have their cash cow.
Yep.
And they just sit on it, right?
Yeah.
And don't decide to stick their neck out and, you know, go into mapping when there's already, you know, OnX,
Yep.
you know, let's just say it. Or, you know, go into the gear shop. So like what, you know, what's driving that?
Yeah. So if you look at, if we set out years ago to be the only end-to-end solution for hunters, right? And so you talked about the research product. We built that. We launched the e-commerce store. Then we have the e-learning business. But you still you're not a complete product if you can't help people in the field.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so that was that missing piece with mapping. And so you plug mapping in and it really unlocks a lot. And then you have this full ecosystem that really takes care of a customer 365 days a year, whatever their needs are. Because as hunters, every month we're thinking about different things, right? Preparing for next season and then drawing tags, preparing for this season. And then it's just a constant like this. And so we had to fill that gap. And look, competition's good. And let's be honest, OnX solved some great problems. And they innovated, you know, years ago. And they have a good company, right? And they are continuing to have their challenges and growing and things like that. And competition is good for the consumer.
Yeah.
Right? And that's where the consumer is going to win. And it's good for a consumer to have somebody else solving problems. I mean, think about what we did with offline maps. We've had an app 6 months. Others have had 6 years, 10 years, right? There's a lot of these companies that have been having maps, digital maps for years and years and years. We've had our 6 months. And we just made a release with offline maps that allows you to download a map 20 times the size of those other providers.
I tried
20
it.
times. Little old GoHunt with a team a fraction of the size.
You know, it solves a huge problem because on OnX you're sitting there like saving a patchwork of like your unit, and now you can just like zoom out and save your whole unit. That is pretty cool.
And the GIS layers, right? Like you can download every single layer in a state in less than 10 seconds.
Yeah.
And have it locally stored in your phone.
And how you turn them on and off is very much more intuitive, I feel like.
Yes, exactly. And that's just because we have hunters in this office that are passionate about this, talking to technology people, getting on the whiteboards.
And you also have the kind of advantage of, you know, that whole cash cow thing I was talking about. You know, I'm not trying to call out OnX necessarily, but like a company like that where it's kind of like they're probably in the mindset of it ain't broke, don't fix it. We're number one, so there might maybe and this could be relating to anything, but just kind of hanging out, you know. Whereas you guys are really trying to figure out how can we make this better, how can we make this better, and it can relate to anything. Like, you know, for listeners out there, like you guys could have been just like, well, OnX is there, and just not tried it. But like you said, Apple could have done the same thing, but sometimes you just got to like go for it and just try.
Yep, they're just in a different like cycle of their business, right? They're a ginormous company, 300, 400 people, whatever it is. They have got to grow outside of hunting, right? And again, that's what we love, our focus of hunting, right? They brought in a 20-year Amazon vet, probably a very smart individual. They're going to figure out how to get into these other markets and go public or whatever they do on their big scale, right? That involves taking hunting money though and parlaying it into other verticals. And again, we just love our focus of being a hunting company.
You might have to compromise some of your values too if you get into some of these different markets.
You get into some conflicts, right? And so they'll do great. The consumer's going to win. The consumer's the one that's going to win here. And we feel like there's a ton of opportunity to innovate on maps for hunters, right? And so some of those problems that we're going to solve maybe don't apply to other verticals, but they apply to hunting. And again, that focus.
Yeah, man. So Do you see any correlation between hunting, like adventure hunts, and building a business?
Yeah. I still remember, like, it was really important to me. Lorenzo was like, look, you're not a hunter. I'm the hunter in this situation, online and marketing, things like that. You don't have to be a hunter.
But impressive animals in here now.
Yeah, well, I've gotten hooked, but this is back in 2013, 2014. He's like, you need to go in the field. You have to go with me. You don't have to be a hunter. You have to experience it.
Yeah.
Right, and that was really good advice he had. And
what was the first hunt you did?
I went with his brother in the middle of nowhere in Nevada. He drew a deer tag.
Okay.
And so that was like a truck camping, ATV, riding around like that. It was a good first hunt. A lot of glassing, things like that. 2014, I killed my first buck.
Okay. Tell me about that hunt.
In Utah, muzzleloader.
Okay.
Muzzleloader. I drew a muzzleloader tag in Utah. That was a blast of a hunt.
That's him right there?
Yeah.
That's a
killed
killer
early in the hunt. And so, when that always happens, especially when you're early, you're like, you need some humbling experiences, which I definitely got after that.
Yeah.
I had a Colorado tag later that fall, got smoked, really hard hunt. It was grind. 2015, did my first backcountry hunt with Brandon in our office. That was a very humbling experience. So you said, the correlation, that was a very, very humbling experience, right? Like a true backcountry hunt, especially when you're a brand new hunter like that.
Yeah. What were some of the things that was humbling about it, specifically?
I mean, I was with Brandon, right, who's been doing backcountry hunts like that for 10 to 15 years. And he's a sicko. He'll go, like, into Colorado by himself for 10 days. And
yeah, I can't do that.
Pull out deer. And he had a lot of success by himself. And so he's just so experienced, gear up hunting, all that good stuff. So, we're doing things that he thinks is very normal. And it's hard to explain how challenging a backcountry hunt can be until you actually do it.
Yeah.
He's telling me we're going to hike 6 miles in, we're going to camp up there. That sounds like, okay, that's manageable. 6 miles is a lot, especially when you're climbing 2,000 or 3,000 feet of vert.
With a pack,
That's no joke. With a 60, 70 pound pack, you're like, okay, like, wow.
Yeah.
And so then we set up camp, and I felt like I accomplished something just getting to camp, setting up camp,
Yeah.
And then it's like the next day, it's like, okay, cool, we're going to like go up to that ridge, we're going to work that, and we're going to like basically do a round trip loop of another 4 miles. And I'm like, dude, I'm sore. I'm like recovered from yesterday. But yeah, and the hunt starts. Like, let's go. It's like, oh my gosh. Like, wait, we're going to do this for 9 days? It's like, oh, your mind starts to go like, whoa.
Can I do this? Can I do this?
Yeah. And then your mind starts questioning, and you never want that out there.
Yeah, I remember the first, Dan Staten from Elk Shape? Okay, so I went and filmed a hunt for him. And like the first day was like 11 miles and like 5,000 feet up and down. And so like, total like 10,000 or something. I can't remember. Anyway, it was a grueling day.
Yeah.
And like I remember just laying in the tent at night being like, dude, if every day is like this, I don't know. But I was like, but I'll tell you one thing, I ain't quitting. Yep. So luckily they weren't all that bad. But so anyway, so it's the next day, you're sore. What happened then?
We barely saw any deer. And so that was actually where it got bad and humbling. We're like, whoa, like all this work, like in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, you just put the work in and then, you're going to get a bunch of shots at deer. It's like, no. That's like half the battle. Yeah. I'm thinking, you get up in there, there's going to be a bunch of deer. Like, you just got to work your tail off to get in there.
Yeah.
Well, we did that.
It's Colorado, you said?
Yeah, and then we didn't see any deer. Mm-hmm. So then it's like, all right, well, we got to move camps. Like, wait, what? We've been here 2 nights. Like, I'm just getting settled in. And then, no, we're going to move 2 basins over. It's like, what? It's such big country.
Yeah.
And so that whole hunt was just again, humbling and going, what the heck? And came out of there and really felt like I accomplished something, even though I've never really had any close encounters. We saw probably 10 deer total. Yeah. But you go, okay, like that was brutal, but I survived.
You made it, yeah.
Yeah, and so.
Yeah, those trips are, they're different. Like, they're different from a day hunt or something. But you come out with like a whole new level of confidence. Like I remember after my first trip, it was the same thing as like, my first trip was in Alaska, which is crazy. And my first Western hunt was like a backcountry on foot, like public land. So
In Alaska?
In Alaska.
Holy jeez.
Yeah, we went to East Central Alaska on a controlled use area, and like my buddy that I was going with is like ex-Navy Special Warfare, so it was like an amazing shape. And anyway, we went in like 7 miles, but there'd be times where it'd be like, all right, we're gonna go up there, and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
We're going, and he's like, yeah, just one step at a time. But when you come back, the confidence, like, it's amazing.
It's an incredible experience. We were talking about yesterday, like if every American once a decade, went on a true backcountry hunt, would they not appreciate the luxuries of living in the city?
Yeah.
Would they not appreciate where their food comes from?
Yeah.
Like, imagine if everyone had to go gut a deer and like cook it up on a fire. Like everybody would everyone would chill out.
Yeah.
And everybody would just kind of
or they would die.
appreciate the fresh air a little bit more and just chill out and realize, hey, it's okay. Like I don't need to worry about this little thing. Like there's a bigger meaning.
Yeah, and just
life.
not taking for granted the little things of having fresh water available.
That's the part that I wish that I want to share more. And I tell all my like non-hunting buddies, like just come on a hunt with me.
Yeah.
It's just an experience.
Yeah.
And I'm really passionate about that. I just think it's so good for everybody. It's so healthy.
Yeah.
I've really gotten hooked on the backcountry. I don't get to do it as much as I want.
Yeah.
I want to do one. I committed a couple years ago that I'd do, 1 or 2 every single year, and I skipped last year. But like I love it. Like I absolutely love it.
Did you love it in the moment, or did you realize after that trip you loved it?
Not in the moment.
Yeah.
In the moment, I'm like, what did
it sucks. Yeah.
What did I sign up for? It actually took 2 times. The one I really fell in love with it when I went with Brady in Wyoming.
Okay.
And
is that a deer hunt?
Yes.
Okay.
That was like my 3rd or 4th like true backcountry hunt, and maybe like 3rd. Yeah, 3rd, not 4th, 3rd. And it was like I felt a little bit more prepared. Like mentally, you're like, okay, this is going to be a suck fest. Like, when you know how bad it can be, you're like, okay, chill out. This isn't that bad. When you're 4 miles in and you're like, wait, what the heck? You're like, dude, it's not that big a deal.
Did you train for it, or are you just stay in shape naturally?
That's some of the parts I love the most about it. I'm a logistics planning guy.
Okay.
And I love I set out all my gear like 2 months in advance in my guest bedroom. My wife like, what is wrong with you?
Each day, food in a
love
Ziploc bag.
Yeah, and I'm like testing different food and like tinkering.
Yeah.
And then I'm a big footwear guy. I got bad. There's 2 big things I learned on the very first hunt with Brandon. I didn't break in my boots good enough, so I had blisters, which would ruin you. And then I wore merino wool.
Huge.
They call me the Undie King around here because I wore like merino wool boxers going in. That's what everyone said. Like, oh, it won't stink. It's great. It's made for like these long backcountry hunts. I couldn't disagree more. Like something about sweating in that merino and sitting in it when you're glassing and stuff. Oh, I got the worst rash. Like I'm coming out. Like I couldn't walk.
You got the swamp ass.
So red. Where like I took my first shower, coming out.
Yeah, sting.
And normally that's like an enjoyable, 20-minute hot shower. I was like, it was so painful. And so ever since then I started really testing different underwear. And
the underwear gave you a rash, or just like not
merino?
Oh, okay.
So sweating and then sitting in it.
Yeah.
Sweating and then sitting.
Yeah.
For the merino really irritated me, and I got horrible chafing.
Oh, man.
Horrible. And then I'm like, okay, I can't do this.
Yeah.
And honestly, we had to come out like a day or 2 early. Like I couldn't walk.
Wow, man.
Like it was horrible.
That's terrible.
And so ever since then, I really like kind of, I wouldn't say studied, but tested a lot of different like underwear, and I realized I need stuff that breathes.
Right.
And so like I use the Sacs.
Okay.
Because it breathes. I need it lighter weight.
I tried merino next to skin too, because everyone says, oh, merino.
Yeah.
I switched this year. Like I go synthetic next to skin now. I still like merino like as a mid layer, but I do not wear it next to skin anymore.
I'm the same way. I'll wear a t-shirt.
Yeah.
And then merino. I like merino for that base layer, but not next to skin. I completely agree.
For sure, man. So that's cool. So do you got any adventures lined up for this year?
Not as much as I would like. So we have two great hunts, but they're not backcountry, which I'm bummed about. Brandon who we hunt a lot, and he helped me kill that bull when I drew a good tag in Nevada. So I owe him. He got really
Sounds
lucky.
like you've drawn some really good tags in your short career, man.
I've gotten they call me lucky around here. I've been pretty fortunate. Yeah, I drew that tag with like 4 or 5 points, which was like
That's a killer bull.
yeah, that was one of my favorite hunts ever. And then
Was that archery hunt or?
no rifle,
Okay.
early rifle, and then but you know it's not that far from town here, so I was able to scout it a bunch and like
Oh, nice.
really prepare a bunch. That was a really enjoyable. We did a film on that.
Okay.
It's called like the game plan or something.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
But yeah, a bunch of the guys from the office. It was a cool
Did Neville film it?
experience. No, he was there though.
Okay.
One of our guys, Mather, filmed it.
Okay.
But yeah, I've drawn a couple good Colorado tags and Nevada deer tags. But you asked, so Brandon drew, you know, like Hunt Expo does these like raffle tags.
Oh, he won one?
$5 tag, drew a bomb early rifle. Like Utah has these rifle tags. Peak rut, right? They open,
Yeah.
I think it starts like the 17th or something. Peak rut, as a resident, it would take him like, I don't know, 20 or 25 years to draw.
Wow.
He got it for $5.
Oh
so
my gosh.
we're gonna, and it's not far from here. It's really close to his town.
Yeah, I
his
put in
house,
for all
so
that stuff too.
he's gonna scout.
Some
So
guys have all the
help
luck,
him.
man. I noticed Remy Warren won one of them.
Yes, yes.
I was like,
Antelope
come
one
on.
or something, right?
Yeah, it was like an archery
Yeah.
antelope.
Yeah, he's such a good guy. And then another guy in our office drew one like 2 or 3 years ago, like a
Okay.
Brook Cliffs one. So yeah, we do. Maybe we got some luck going on around here. So I'm gonna help him, and then I got a Colorado tag with him and Lorenzo.
This
So,
year?
Yep.
What's your Colorado tag?
Deer, third
Deer.
season.
Third season? Nice. Are you guys gonna do backcountry or?
That will be more like truck camp situation.
Yeah.
Just because the deer will be a little bit lower, and that's like middle of November.
Okay.
So that's why I'm like, I have a love-hate with this. It should be a really fun year.
Yeah.
And we should see some good animals, but I'm not doing the backcountry one.
Yeah.
So next year, I'm already talking 2023.
Oh, yeah,
I
me
told you I was a
too.
planner. There's a guy in our office who's got a bunch of horses. So I was
Ooh.
talking to him about doing
a good
Wyoming,
hookup.
General Elk.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, hopefully I'll draw that next year. But it used to be 3 points you could get that tag, but now it's
Yeah.
seeming like not.
Yeah. What is it now in the regular? It's like 4.
Well, yeah. I think you still can draw it with 3, but I think it's harder now.
It's not 100%.
Yeah. But
It's one of the better. That's an adventure.
Yeah.
Deer and elk. Wyoming's just a cool state.
yeah, I'm heading out there this year. And
What do you got this year?
So I have that. I'm gonna go prove that you can go to a 0 point 100% draw antelope unit from
Yep.
Virginia and kill. And then I have Idaho. I got over-the-counter deer and elk tag this concurrent season.
Yep.
I'm going with Luke Duesenberry. Actually, have you met him before?
Yeah. Luke?
Yeah. Yeah, we're gonna tag team filming that.
Oh yeah.
And then November, I have a General Rifle deer in Montana.
Yep.
And I was originally going to go with like Brian and Ryan and them and Mark Livesay, but they have like 2 kids they want to get tags filled for, and I'd be like last on the totem pole. So I think I'm just going to like do my own thing and
Yep.
and hire someone to help me film it. And then January, I'm going down to Mexico with Ryan and Brian and Brad to hunt coos with a rifle.
They got a good ranch down there?
No, so actually I did a podcast with Jay Scott, and it sounded like a cool hunt. So I booked a 4-person group. I was like, I'll find somebody, and I invited those guys, and they're like, yeah, sure.
That is a cool setup. He's
Yeah.
got Mexico figured out.
He
He's a
does,
coos
dude.
freak.
Yeah.
But that's like where you can do it DIY and have
Yes.
like that experience.
It's really hard to find like
Yes.
places where you can go and do DIY hunts. And coos, you can do it, which is awesome. Mule deer, no. Good
Yeah.
luck, you won't find it. But yeah, the fact that you can go down there and hunt DIY is, and I hunted with those guys last year, archery coos, and like, I'm good. Rifle's good.
Yeah, that's
They're so hard to kill
That's
with a
so
bow.
hard. I'm jealous, man. That's on my list. I really want to do that. Jay's been trying to get someone from our office to go down there for a while.
Oh, okay.
He's got that figured out. You're gonna have a blast, man.
Yeah, man. Maybe,
And then, where'd you say antelope?
yeah,
Where?
Wyoming.
Okay. Antelope, and then Idaho. You have combo hunt in October.
Mm-hmm.
Man, you got a good season.
Yep. And then I have a Doll sheep hunt planned for 23.
Alaska.
Yeah,
Wow.
Alaska range. I was talking to somebody. I was doing some research. I was talking to a buddy, Ryan Bassham, who like does hunt consulting.
Yep.
And you know, it's not cheap, obviously, but it's the most affordable sheep in the world to hunt.
Yep.
And it might go to an all draw for non-residents in the next couple of years. There's kind of whispers of that. And so I was like, I'm not going to put it out, you know, you only live once. I'll figure out how to pay for it, you know, over time. But they had a cancellation for 23 and I was like, yep, just grabbed it.
Smart.
Yeah.
If you talk to like older hunters, they all say, hey, listen, do it when you can.
Yeah.
It's going to sting. It's obviously not cheap.
Yeah.
But in the grand scheme of things,
it's not getting cheaper. If I wait 2 more years, it's just going to go up and up and up.
They all say sheep hunting's only going to get more and more expensive.
Yep.
And you only have so many years you can do it where you're healthy and you don't want to look back with regrets. And everybody says it's just an incredible experience.
Yeah.
So man, I'm stoked for you.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that in 23, probably 24. I got to get up there.
Yeah. Have you started putting feelers out yet?
Lorenzo's got some good contacts.
Oh yeah, I'm sure you guys have plenty.
But
because now it's hard to get a spot.
Yeah.
It's not even about like money. It's like getting a spot.
Yeah.
The only reason I was able to get one for 23 is because they had a cancellation. And he's like, I got 1 spot left and it's opening week too. So I was like, yep. It's Rogue Expeditions. Actually, it's the same guy that Remy killed his with.
Okay.
Jeremy Rusink.
Yeah. That guy's supposed to be good.
Yeah, man. So I'm stoked about that.
First week, you probably shouldn't hit as much weather.
Yeah.
Man, I'm stoked for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a good year, man. So just last question, like, I'd love to hear maybe like some of your, since you're a planner, I know, some of your personal goals maybe, and then also maybe goals for GoHunt.
Personal goals like hunting-wise?
Anything, could be anything.
Life-wise?
Yeah.
We got a lot around GoHunt. I mean, this is our baby. We love it.
Yeah.
We always talk about we're 7 years into a 20-year story. We got big plans and big vision for this.
Nice.
We want to build a great company. You know, we still look at us as the small company with a chip on our shoulder that got something to prove.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like we are.
I can tell you're passionate, man. I heard you firing up the troops earlier.
Yeah, we are. We always say we're like allergic to complacency. You know, like we refuse to ever get complacent, and we want to always stay hungry. And so there's a lot of goals around GoHunt. I mean, we just launched the e-learning business outdoor class, which is solving a big problem. We need new hunter recruitment, you know, and I know some of these hunters are like, it gets crowded in my spot, this and that. You got to have the conservation dollars. That's what makes this all go full circle. And non-resident tags is the #1 way to drive revenue for the states.
For sure.
Which helps them protect the animals. And so we got to have that. And there's a big barrier to entry for a new hunter. Like if you don't have a mentor, you didn't have a family member or a brother teach you and you know, show you the ropes. Like it's a very intimidating thing to get into.
Well, you were talking about bringing new people in earlier and how you love to, you know, bring people. And that's kind of what GoHunt does. I mean, me personally, it was huge. I mean, I've been using it since I started using Insider, and I wouldn't have been able to do the small things I have done without it. So.
And that's amazing. And so look, now you're inspiring others, and like you're like a success story, like for real. And like that's again a big compliment you're paying us. We hope our product continues to solve problems for you. Hunting goals, I really want to get into. I want to get up north. Like it's such an adventure.
Alaska, you mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Dude.
And either on a goat hunt or
have you been yet?
No.
Oh, dude.
And I'm just itching.
It's amazing. Like, yeah, it was life changing. Like when I got back from that trip, it was. Then I did Kodiak Blacktail the next year after that.
Oh,
I made a film about that. You should watch it.
Okay, I gotta look at that. That was
Brian ran it on the Gritty channel, so you can see it on his channel.
Okay.
You'll love it. Even if you just do a blacktail, man. Like everyone's like, oh, I don't want to go that far for a deer. No, we did blacktail in August. So we flew into a lake, camped up there. So we had a nice little base camp, and you're up in the Alpine, and they're like in velvet. Well, ours were hard-horned actually, but it's like a poor man's sheep hunt, but it's very fun.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah,
and you can get like 2 tags, can't you? I was gonna say 2 or 3 tags.
Yeah, it's really fun.
Smoking deer. That sounds incredible. Yeah.
It's kind of like, you know, lower pressure type hunt, you know. Really fun though.
You bump into bears?
Tons. All sows and cubs though, and any if they even got a hint that we were around, they were gone.
Really? Okay.
Most of the bears that time of year are down gorging on salmon, so
Yeah.
I think they're a little bit more of a problem later as you get into the year, but we didn't have any problems with them.
Yeah, because the deer moved down a little bit.
Yeah, everything moves down and the bears get hungrier. But yeah, that time of year it's really cool. So you said you're working on a plan to get up there? Or?
Yeah, I don't have a definite plan, but it's probably 2024.
Okay.
We got so much going on here.
Yeah.
Just moved in this new office and
That's killer.
we just launched 2 new products, and so there's a lot going on here. Got 2 young kids at home. I got a
Yeah.
wife who works, so I'm trying to balance a lot.
You got a lot on your plate, man.
But 2024.
You got a beautiful family. I saw
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
Two girls that are sweet as
I got
can be.
how old's your younger one?
Yeah, they're 4 and 8.
Okay. Mine are 3 and 7.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Boys or girls?
One boy. Older is a boy and the younger is a girl.
Yeah, good
So,
for you.
okay, I know I said that was the last question, but one more. Just talk to me about like building a brand that people want to identify with and like think is cool. Like, I think you guys have done an amazing job of building like a cool brand. Like even just from an outsider as a consumer, like I don't wear like a lot of brands, but like I'm down to wear like a GoHunt shirt. You know what I mean? Like, and it's not just because like I'm partners with you guys or whatever. Like like I said, I've been using your products since the beginning. So like, how do you build a brand that people want to associate with?
Appreciate you saying that. And it's not easy, but it's not actually that hard either. It's around being authentic, and it's around caring about your customer and being passionate. Like if you have the wrong motives, then it can be really difficult. But if you're just true to who you are, and you like, because everything you're describing is like, you see it around the office. You hear us talking. It's not just for marketing or whatever. Like this is who we are, and a lot of our DNA is literally Lorenzo and I, who we are as people. Yeah. Right. And you know, he's salt of the earth kind of guy. If you haven't spent much time with him, I mean, he's the nicest guy ever. Yeah. You know, I'm the more a little bit like that, right? He gets to be good cop. Sometimes I got to be bad cop. It's that yin and the yang. But we care about our customers. We care about our team. We care about this company like through and through. Yeah. And that's what you see in our branding. That's what you see is just a passion for what we're doing, a passion for solving problems, and a passion for our customers. For sure. Makes it easier when you truly care. Right? Yeah. When you don't care about what you're doing, you know, we've all had jobs that you're kind of looking at the clock. Is it lunchtime yet? You know, like that should be the signal where you're like, that's not the right job. Yeah. You want to be really pumped and passionate. The day should fly by. Mm-hmm. That's when you know you're onto something. Yeah. And that's what it's like for us. And we hope for our team too. Like we always say, like when we're hiring new people, if you're a clock puncher, you're going to get chewed up and spit out here. If you care, you're going to do great. Yeah. Like you got to care about what you're doing. You don't have to be a hunter to work here, but you have to be passionate about our customer. If you're not passionate, you won't survive here. Yeah. And like, I feel like in this industry, it's some companies have kind of like a macho thing kind of going, you know, and like, I was wondering, you know, coming in if, you know, some places you go and people are kind of standoffish and stuff, but like, I noticed from the second I walked in, like everyone's super nice, like inviting. So that's cool that you guys have been able to, I don't know, just you've done a really good job just cultivating a culture here that's the people are, I think authenticity is a huge thing, like you just said, and genuine, and just like they're nice. They're not like standoffish. You know what I mean? Starts again with caring about your work and caring about your customer. Mm-hmm. And so we look at you. Yeah, you're a partner, but you're a customer. You're a customer first. And everyone walking around, Brady, Neville, the people you've been talking to, like they care. They care about this industry. Mm-hmm. They care about their customers. They care about the company. For sure. So. Well, cool, man. Well, I appreciate your time, and I got another appointment, so I think this is way more fun than whatever meeting I'm going to go to next. Cool, man. Well, thanks again, man. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah.